JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Thursday, July 31st, 3:34. It's fine afternoon talk. Really quick about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from the S&P in the red, about down 0.2% here on the SPY. It's been kind of like one of those days that I don't like, right? The gaps and fades. So it didn't happen right away. It took its time. Then the SPY hit lows about 230. SPY broke under 633, testing 631.43. It's kind of similar to where we hit yesterday. What did we hit yesterday was the low. Of course, I don't have that right on me. And then we bounced here, and we're sitting exactly at the same spot we were yesterday at this time when I was on the rant, right? 633 on the nose. So uh, we'll see what happens. A lot hinges on what's going to go with how Apple and Amazon report after the close. 631.54 was yesterday. 631.43 was today. So so a lot's going to have to do with Apple and Amazon after the close. Everybody's talking about the less about the sales of the iPhones, right? Because it's kind of like mid-cycle, and eventually they'll announce their new phone, and that'll be the next catalyst, right? So what's more important is what's going to be baked into the new phone in regards to AI, and then what does the tariff situation look like? So that's going to be the big stuff with Apple, and you'll also have with Amazon, it's going to be a lot of it's going to be about tariffs, and for me, other sides, obviously the cloud business is something to talk about, and who knows, maybe their ad business, right? I mean, nobody ever thought Amazon would have some kind of revenues from the ad side, but it's it's surprisingly going to be high margin part of their business. So that'll be big. And then tomorrow, before the open, we get the jobs report. Tomorrow is also reciprocal tariff day, right? That's the official kickoff of the tariff of effective date of countries that haven't worked out a deal with the U.S. Who knows how that all plays out? Earlier today, we got a little reprieve from Mexico, I guess another 90 days. So that bodes well. And just hopefully Mexico kind of get worked out and we can kind of put some of this tariff stuff behind us. And then who knows, maybe there'll be positive news as some of the tariffs get rolled back, right? I mean, maybe it's like, oh my gosh, uh, when tariffs go down to 10%, maybe that'll be good for markets. I don't know. I sense by a little bit of sarcasm. To me, I still remain on the cautious side, right? I mean, I would love to see the SPY over 640 tomorrow. I think if Apple and Amazon can kind of allay concerns there, and uh, especially in regards to the tariff side of things, maybe that sets things up. But just feels like a little heavy today. Just me, right? Because I'm looking at the market a little bit from the bearish skewed side, right? Like where you watch the action the last couple of days, and it's like, and this is the 1 hour charts on the SPY. I should have the other days, but even Monday, Tuesday was like markets open and melted, markets open and melted. So uh, no, again, I'm not putting my bear suit on, but I'm just more apt to do hedge positions, right? And speculative ones, inexpensive. Uh, that's what I'm doing. That's probably I'll continue to do depending on what the action looks like tomorrow. Today at the open, of course, I was looking at service now, kicking myself, but I'll talk about more of those in a second. But after the close, I think Amazon's like a 5% implied move. I'm not trading that one. Apple, I have no guts. I shouldn't say no guts, but uh, it could go either way, right? I think if there's positive updates and decent numbers, maybe it trades over 220 or it's the start of its run. Right? I've tried to play it for a start of its run a month or two ago. And I think at some point it's back over 220 and beyond, but maybe not, right? If I thought that, I'd be getting the calls. Not going to do that. That's kind of the overall market, 640 to 626 on a SPY. So it's that 626 handle. If there's disappointments in regards to the earnings after the close and or the jobs report tomorrow, right? If the jobs report comes in massively worse than expectations, that would be like that people are just waiting for that shoe to drop, right? The PC data this morning, tad hotter than expectations. People are like, oh, here we go. Here come the tariffs. You can just hear it, right? I can like see the headlines that's going to be coming out over the next couple weeks and months. And then especially if the market has weakness, right? Forget about it. Oh my gosh. So but at the same token, those again, most of the people who are on that viewpoint that tariffs are just going to cause high runaway inflation, all that have been had that same view since April. I'm not saying I don't have a view like that. I'm more open to both sides, right? Maybe some positive outcomes, and maybe if there are inflationary concerns, that it's not as crazy uh, as it's being played out, right? Who remembers? I mean, it hasn't not that long ago they told us inflation was transitory, and then inflation went bonkers, right? Who remembers that? Was it Yellen? I think it was Yellen right before Powell. One of those, or maybe she was Treasury Secretary. It just nobody can say without a doubt 100% that tariffs will not have inflationary impacts on that. You just can't say without a doubt, right? So I'm always from the hope that exporters and importers take a lot of that cost, and then the end retailer, the car manufacturer, whoever takes the last bit of it. And then, if they raise prices and consumers don't like it, then if your consumer don't buy it, if it's not a necessity, and then that'll help with the supply demand dynamic, right? All right, just I'm an optimist, so that's my thought process. All right, so now just quick on individual names. Disappointing here. Small caps down 4 days in a row this week. You could see it overnight too. Futures rallying yesterday afternoon with all the earnings, and small caps were in the red. And it's like, I don't know if it's a strong U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar index went over 100 today. I mean, how about that dollar? I mean, I was on the rant a couple weeks ago when my favorite folks on FinTwit said, "Oh yeah, we're short the dollar," and they'll just delete the tweets or whatever. And I get plenty wrong, but I certainly am not obnoxious about it when when other people get it wrong, right? I mean, right now I'm being it, but I'm not going out there posting them up or whatever. But uh, so I don't know if it's the U.S. dollar. Yields are a little lower here today, so you would think this would be the perfect environment for the markets to just hold the gains and rally. And maybe it will tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow's the day. Today's just a little sell the gap, take some profits, and onward and upward tomorrow. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. If that happens over 640 tomorrow, uh, you know, be some opportunities, number one, and number two, maybe dismiss some of my cautious stance here. All right, so now on to some names and Roku. I was saying it this morning. I'm like, why couldn't we just erase Tuesday from the trading calendar, and then Roku would be at 100 and 102, $104 right now. Instead, we had Tuesday. It took some time to get its footing back yesterday, and then it's up another 2.3%. It was up over 95 earlier, right after the noon hour. It's gonna be hit or miss, and in lieu of trying to get some calls and cover cost, I'm just gonna hold my strikes. I mean, I was looking at the weeklies, but and my 125s are not too shabby right now. I don't want to be in a spot where I lock those, and then I'm worried about uh you know missing it, right? So they're actually, like I could take 20% off and take some profits. I don't know. So those are up technically 130%. I could have got him yesterday, right? In hindsight, but instead you have to. It's like punishment for the roller coaster ride, right? Not only were you on the roller coaster, but it's like the punishment to see them back. Anyway, all right. So that's Roku. You know my thoughts. I think it's a 125, $130 stock, if not higher, substantially higher. Hopefully today is the day the market agrees. So that's Roku. Broadcom. So I've been dabbling the hedge puts Tuesday, and then held them into yesterday. Same with AMD, and then at the open, I'm watching Broadcom. I'm like, there's two things that going to happen here. And if you look at a chart on Broadcom, it's been riding that upper Bollinger Band. I mean, it's been riding it since May, but uh, up 6 days, 7 days in a row. You just had monster earnings from Meta and Microsoft. You think gap and go for Broadcom. Instead, it was kind of like it was 306, then it was flat 303. I'm like, this thing's going to pull, right? It's going to pull. And again, not for any reason, not because it's not a good company or it's not going to be higher 12 to 18 months from now, just because people are going to take profits and it become a snowball effect. So it took some time, right? It was stubborn. I went and got the 290 puts, and even I got them when the stock's at 303, and the stock goes down to 298. And guess what? My puts are the same exact price. So don't tell me it's easy getting puts and writing it down and still being right to the tune of nearly $5, and they're still flat, right? Still to make money. Then finally rolled over, continued to melt all the way down to lows that actually in the money pretty much at 2 o'clock. It was 290. So I scaled some out for 100%, little 200%, and then they were almost 700% right when it was 290. They were like $3. I'm just going to hold them into tomorrow. Call me crazy, but if there's weakness, Apple and Amazon just disappoint, or the market just sells the news or what have you, I could see, another 4 or 5%. You're talking 286, and then you start looking, the calls going to be serious multi-baggers. So that's the thought process there. Not only that, offset some of the other hedge positions I put on. I mean, who knows? The 280s were actually somewhat back to life, only down 50% at times. But I'll continue to hold those. I was also looking at ServiceNow. I was talking about it yesterday in the rant right around this time. I'm like, oh, 930s look interesting on a puts risk reward basis. This morning, I think they were like 90 cents. I almost pulled the trigger. Someone got filled at $1, and then I turned away, and then that was it. And I think there were $2.53 earlier. I try not to look because I'll get FOMO, but yeah, the 930 is a 3 by $4. Let's see here. Yeah, three by $4. So at 300, 400% on those. But risk reward, right? I mean, depending on how you do your risk profile is, if you're doing 10 contracts, that's a decent amount of risk to put on an option that expires the next day with zero catalyst outside of macroeconomic situations, the earnings and jobs reports. So, but at the same token, gosh, disappointed to miss that one. Some other names, right? Joby's was hanging in there. It's only down 1.7%, still above 16, still waiting for that one. Still looking to add some more on Serve Robotics. That was at 1060 earlier in the day. It's just kind of like melting around, chopping. Edit and Cedar disappointing. I mean, Edit was kind of flat as a pancake. Still have the January freebie, so still plenty of time. Hopefully, it starts to get going soon. I'm trying to see when its update is. Did it? No, it didn't announce its update. And then Cedar reports earnings next week, so definitely could be a catalyst for the next leg to the upside. I'm trying to think of other things here. Yeah, US dollar index 99.94, 99.94. Just remarkable stuff, right? You would think, and I was reading articles this morning or earlier today, where now people are saying that the stronger US dollar is a negative, right? Oh, that just means weak demand and all this stuff. I'm like, it's like heads the US dollar is garbage, tails. I'm trying to think of a good analogy, but it doesn't matter. If it goes up, it's bad. If it goes down, it's bad, right? Oh, the U.S. debt is out of favor. The U.S. dollar's taken on the chin. It's going to lose its reserve currency status, and then it gets stronger. It's like, oh no, weaker economic demand is it's not good. U.S. dollar's strength is not good for the. And so it's, anyway. Me, you don't want things. It's like Goldilocks, right? You don't want the U.S. dollar off the hook, crazy strong, of course, unless you're traveling somewhere, right? And then you don't want a crazy week either, right? So just Goldilocks situation. And then with yields have to come down just a little more. All right, that's it, folks. Have a great afternoon. I'll be around here after the after the close. Fingers crossed for Roku. Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to post on FinTwit. Good chance if you got in the Roku strikes and you want to make sure to protect yourself from having the position go to zero. Great chance to lock them in, right? All right, have a great day, folks. I'll be back rock and roll.